SpotlightHigh.com was founded to bring local sports information to fans and sports enthusiasts.
Good luck to you next week.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That will be up there tomorrow morning.
Cool.
All right. Coach Johnson of Spotlight High had the privilege to talk to a professional boxer that goes by the name of Slugger in his own gym, and that would be Jerry Slugger Foster. Now with Jerry Slugger Foster, the Slugger of Newport News. Jerry, thanks for having us in your own gym.
No problem.
Before we get started, we all know the backstory, but the backstory for me and the other coaches are simple, and we applaud you for what you did back in the day at Woodside. You took up for the small guy. You took up for yourself. You saw something, a situation, and you handled it. And not that you I don't know you know or not, but when you did that, things calmed down, not only just in that classroom, but in the hallways with that situation. You can collaborate on it if you want to, but for me and the other coaches of Woodside, we just want to thank you. And that's what got started of what you do in your community. And we want to say thank you for what you do in your community.
No problem.
And started back then.
Yes, sir.
Slugger.
Yes, sir. It's not so much thinking about doing the right thing. It's more so like it's integrity. I mean, it doesn't take a math whiz to know that 12th graders shouldn't be jumping on the 8th grader. You know, I mean, it's simple. Yeah. So the defense was kind of like that was a mutual thing that I would have did for anybody. I didn't know the kid, of course, but that was a mutual thing. My thing was, it carried on into the classroom. I try not to fight in class. I mean, as a matter of fact, I skipped school. My mom was like, go to class. If they touch you, fight them. Mr. Van, I'm in the hallway like B house. Mr. Van come over, he like, you gotta go to class. I'm like, Mr. Van, if I go to first period, dudes are in class and I'm gonna fight them. I'm like, I don't have a choice. He's like, you gotta go. Go to class, Miss Tilly, Bonnie Lee Tilly, English, honors history, and that's where it first started. And I mean, from there, it extended outside of school. Mm-hmm. You know, my dad was a Navy recruiter, so like, you know, in those situations, it's his image also. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you don't want to be the kid that's like getting in trouble and your dad got to come to school every single. So it's like, I try to make sure everything was outside of school. Mm-hmm. You don't know, but they retaliated actually outside of school a couple times. Like the day I got back, we did a small, like I guess you could say meet and greet. With, I mean, all these people that were like either me or him. Mm-hmm. And just that quick, it turned into we're fighting today, and like you got to come out there, and either you're gonna fight with us or you gonna, and it's like what? So then you hear about like being on top of the list, like Bloods, and this is just crazy, but it's all over. Yeah. I mean, some neighborhood fights. Yeah. But all in all, that's what really started like the whole path and the whole journey to where I'm at now. I mean, it was an eye opener. I mean, my street was packed the day that it happened. Mm-hmm. 12 cop cars had to come on the street to get because it was so many kids. And I mean, from that day on, it definitely transformed the life that I have today into something different, for sure.
You were Slugger before that happened because you were Slugger because of your
yes, sir.
Your mother.
Just the given ability from God.
Said you're a Slugger because of the grace of God.
Mm-hmm. It's just giving the ability to God. I was gonna die. So I had the bowel movement inside my mom.
Right.
Poison her bloodstream. So she's getting a blood transfusion, and they're trying to, you know, give me the blood transfusion, trying to work on my heart and all that stuff. So I was not responsive. So what they did was they took my grandmother, and they brought her in the room with my mom. And they were just like basically together, you know, y'all, you know, playing the funeral. You know, he's not gonna make it through the night. You know, kids don't make it through the night. You know, planning the funeral, and then that's when my grandmother started crying. You know, she's like, "Well, if you die, you know, my daughter's going to die. You can't." So that's where she was like, "You got to be a Slugger. You got to fight. You got to have a will to win." So that's what, one day.
And look at you now, Slugger. Let's talk about Slugger. Let's talk about inside that ring.
Yes, sir.
Everybody watch different boxing shows. Everybody watch different sports events. But we always wonder, when you come out that dressing room and the music playing, you walking towards the inside of the ring, what goes through your mind? Preparation. We all know you went through all the preparation, went through the training, went through the running, went through everything. But when you come out that dressing room, got your robe on, and you just marching down to get in that ring, what goes through your mind?
So football, track, it's when you're at the starting lineup, it's always the question of, are you ready?
Yeah.
Because you're an athlete. In my instance, it's not, are you ready? Mm-hmm. It's more like, are you willing, or have you trained hard enough to give everything you're about to have to give?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the ready part, you do that weeks before the fight starts. Yes. You know what I mean? Like I'm going into camp next week.
Yes.
Weeks before that, you know what I'm saying? That's done. Mm-hmm. But for us, it's the mental. Are you physically ready? Because what we do, honestly, mm-hmm. like football, track. Once you guys run the 100 meter now, granted, long distance, that's different.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
but the sprints, 100 meters, right. 100 yards, you're done.
Don't even think about it. I'm be honest with you. I'm a 100 hurdle guy. When you run, we don't think about it.
Because
but when you come out that dressing room and that music going,
because it's real.
Yeah.
You know that, in the hurdles of football, it's different because you don't have to look someone in their eyes for 5 minutes before you fight. You know what I'm saying? It's real because they're not blinking. They're not scared. You know what I'm saying? They're not going, and you're in the ring, you're waiting on them or they're waiting on you. Mm-hmm. And you know it's about to engage. You know what's about to happen. So it's just the mental part of, was I really prepared? You know what I'm saying? Have I really mentally prepared myself? Mm-hmm. Because what happens is, and I tell the coaches sometimes, with the kids, you have to realize what's happening right now is you're about to push yourself to a limit beyond what normal humans should push.
Yes.
Because you can sub out in basketball, football. There's no slug.
Yes.
100 meter hurdle, once you're done, you're done.
Yes.
The first round, that's the first round.
And you're going
12.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fights where I've been in the fight and I'm like, I'm winning the fight. Mm-hmm. What round is it? Because it's still that you have to keep that edge. And if you lose the edge and they gain it, you have to will it back. Mm-hmm. So, just walking to the ring, I'm just wondering, is he as prepared as I am? Did I do everything when he was asleep? Did I work out hard enough?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
When I was taking my breaks, how hard was he working? And you just think about that. Yeah. And that's what powers you. It's not fear.
Right.
That's what amps you up. Mm-hmm.
Mike Tyson said everybody can box until they get hit. Your first fight, walk me through when you first got hit. In a not practice, but you're actually
as a kid?
Professional, no. Actually
professional?
Professional boxing. How did you keep your composure when you?
It comes from, how can I put this? As a child, my mother, you paid consequences when you did things bad. I put it in the 2020,
right?
2020 way. And I mean, you pay consequences. And I say that in the sense of, some parents, like you just referenced Tyson. Mm-hmm. Parents, you never really hear Tyson reference how strict his mom was.
Right.
Well, him and his brothers and sisters, they got bullied. You'll hear them say, I got bullied, they took our lunch money.
Right.
Tyson never confronted nobody. Mm-hmm. So Tyson's way to fight was pure scaredness. And that's why he tells people, he's scared when he's he's really nervous.
Right.
Because his way of lashing out is through fear.
Yeah.
I was always confronted. So if I had a bad grade, I had to go home and deal with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I did something, I had to go home and deal with it. You know what I mean? So, my dad becoming the Navy recruiter for the 4 years. I mean, that was like playing. You know what I mean? So, I've always had to confront things head on. You know what I mean? Like I never could really hide a lot of stuff. So, for me, that's what it is. You have fighters that's like that. So when you get hit. And when I got hit my first time, I went in. My first fight, I think it ended in maybe 45 seconds, 50 seconds. And it's because he did get a punch. Right. And I just started throwing punches. Mm-hmm. But it's because the way you're raised can also affect the way you're in the ring. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was always, confront things head on. And that's how,
Well, I'm glad you can hold that because that's amazing. We watch fight all the time, and my buddy Coach Gordon always say, Jerry's coming on in a month, Jerry's coming on in a week, Jerry's coming on tonight, and we watch you go in there, and it's like we know that guy. We saw that guy walk around Woodside, and how you carry yourself. So just talking to you now, you have your own gym. You have your own way of that you give back to the community. What that means to you giving back to the community?
Well, as a kid, so growing up in Louisiana, no one's in the military.
Right.
So it was like my dad joined the military. So when we moved here, so when we first moved here, I was probably in like the first grade. Mm-hmm. But I'm a grandmother baby, so I stayed with my grandmother, the one that named me Slugger.
Yeah.
And they allowed it till I was in 5th grade. Just because, 5th grade, she just couldn't really handle me anymore, as far as like keeping up with my grades, making sure I was in school. So I came here, but the thing was like, I may come here for like a half a school year, but it's kind of like, I knew how my cousins lived in Louisiana. So like, I had my own room in Virginia, my whole entire life. Like, even I was never here.
Yeah.
So from 1st grade, I had my own room all the time.
Right.
My room had toys in it in Virginia. I had the Batman car, all kind of stuff, but that was here. Louisiana, I slept on the floor with my 6 cousins, you know what I'm saying? My mom might buy me 2 or 3 pairs of J's. They can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, my grandmother provided for them with some of my aunts and people, because my grandmother adopted some of my cousins, and that's Louisiana for you. So, in all that environment, I seen like a lot of my cousins, they didn't have what I had.
Yeah.
So it sucks because it's like, I can go and eat it anytime I want to. They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I was powerless to help them. So now, we try to do it.
Try to do it. It comes easy because you started as a young age.
Yeah. It's almost like you see poverty, but you're not impoverished.
Right.
But you're in an environment that's semi-impoverished. Like my grandmother, they were on fixed income. Right. So like for me, people don't realize I had a life that I could have had, 1st grade but I chose to stay with my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? So I know both sides.
Yeah. I
clearly.
Totally get it.
Clearly.
I had 2 great grandmothers, and they were wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is great. Now, you married into a great family, the Sagers. They are wonderful.
Love my family, definitely.
But you also have a great family yourself. Your dad, now I thank your dad, tell him today.
Yes, sir.
That I thanked him for his service that he did in the military.
Yes, sir.
I say that to say this. Would you allow your kids to box?
I don't mind it. My thing is, I know the ramifications of it. That's something you got to deal with personally.
Right.
I don't influence them to, but I don't influence them not to.
Right.
They come to the gym.
Yes.
But I would never be like, hey, you need to do this. Like my oldest son, I had a sweatpants on this morning. That's why I was kind of late, actually. Because we're like the same size now almost.
Yeah.
So like, put his sweatpants on. My wife's like, because we hang our stuff up together when we work out and stuff. She's like, those aren't yours. She's like, I'm telling you, those are. And I'm like, yes, they are. Because they're like the same style.
Yeah.
And she's like, those are definitely your sons. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So he comes, like,
coming up.
so that's why I was late almost today. I'm like, just doing that. So, with all that going on, that's kind of, I guess you could say it falls in line. My family in general, we don't push stuff. If it doesn't work for us, we just let it go.
Right.
And Jana's probably the biggest part of, everything that I do. With what I've done and what I've sacrificed, if it makes sense, you're gone. My dad's in the military, and he's gone by, I guess you could say it's not by choice. Like when he's out to sea, you have a wife that's out to sea. I'm just saying,
right.
you miss her, but you know that there's nothing you can do. For me, it's like you go home, you go to the gym. So it's like, it's an itch, because you can touch the person, but you can't touch them. So we've kind of just learned to fall in line. You know, we've been around each other since we were teenagers, so we fall in line with love and life, and we just kind of let it. I mean, we're responsive to everything that, you know, and we don't have a structure.
Okay.
You know?
But I will say, talking to your father and your mother is much easier because how technology is. FaceTime with you and Jenna is great when you are off training, and compared to a landline that your dad had.
Yeah. So my dad, see, like now, God, I'll show you, like the kind of person he is. I mean, of course he can't talk on the phone. So he email. I mean, you see, I mean, you know, that's Wednesday. So, I mean, stocks, bonds. He's
like
a
daily conversation.
Yeah.
Emails and texts. That's
definitely. Yeah. It's like I was supposed to buy some stocks from the other day, and I didn't do it for like 2 days.
Yeah.
My mom was like $600 out the account. I'm like, so you know, I write him like, Dad, look, I got a fight that's about to happen. I'm trying to get, you know, all the stuff to go to UK, and he's like, cool. I've already done it anyway, so I'm like, all right, Dad. So it makes it easier, you know, that we can't communicate, at least through text messaging, like, but he does call, you know, and every now and then I'll send him video chats. Now that like we could do the text emails, I'll send him video things of the whole family and saying hi and stuff.
I think that's the biggest part of our lives is our family, because if you look right there, that's my son.
That's beautiful.
And he's making sure that the camera angle and make sure that you looking great behind your own gym.
Yes, sir.
So that's what he's doing.
Yes,
so
sir.
That's my buddy. That's Christopher
Johnson.
Johnson.
See, what I tell people is time. Like, I box. I quit the job at the shipyard not because I just wanted. I mean, because I loved that job. That was. I mean, not the job was nuclear. It's cool, you know, and you know, you get to talk to a lot of people and say what you do and stuff. But the people you got to work around, you know, was cool. But the time is what I quit for. You know, you pay for time with your son.
Yes.
And that's the most important asset that boxing gives me now, is that I have the time to do other things. You know, like I can actually go home and you know, fuss with her. Yeah. Rather where, you know, we can't even fuss because. So, you know, I laugh now because like, you know, before, like, you just mad. Like, I'll see you in like a day because work, gym, and I'll see you in the morning, you know? So time is what's probably changed the most, and that's what, in the family, that's what we try to, you know, cherish in general, you know, on both sides.
Yes.
I feel that her family gave a lot in the sense of like her mom, you know, we never paid for daycare. Her mom watched the kids in the morning time. My mom got off. She got the kids. You know, I was in the gym. Jana was at work. So time is what everybody gave, if that makes sense, just for one person to start achieving what I'm achieving now. So it's the family structure plays it. And like I said, we just fall in line. You know, it's like, I'm leaving for camp next week. It's no worry because everything's gonna be taken care of by somebody on either side. I think that I'm definitely blessed with the structure that I have.
I'll tell
on
you
both
what,
sides.
Like you said, I applaud both families. The Foster family and the Sager family, they are great. I know that for a fact.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about your fight that's coming up.
Yes, sir.
Who is it? When is it? How long you have to prepare yourself for it, physically and mentally?
Mentally, we just got the call. So, Philip Hekovic will be fighting, hopefully December 15th. It'll be in the UK.
Okay.
So right now, you know, it's COVID. So the last fight I had, I kind of slept on him. I should have not said I didn't train.
Right.
When you perform to the level of the person you're fighting, it's because you took it for granted, I feel. And I really took Takam for granted. Like, that was a fight where honestly, I was supposed to go in and just knock him out.
Right.
But the thing is, you never go for it, and you never ever go into a camp with that repeated. And that's what I went in. And like my coaches were telling me, like, look, this is gonna be a hard fight. And I'm like, Coach, I feel you, and I'm coming in like this, but I'm like, it's gonna be. I'm telling you, Coach. And so mentally, I was not ready to really go, and for him to put up that kind of fight.
Right.
You know, and that's what changed that fight. So my next fight against Philip Hekovic, you seen when I fought Jermaine Franklin, that fight was a, you know, best prospect in the country. Now I'm gonna try to fight. And granted, this is all if the contracts are signed within 2 days.
Right.
Philip Hekovic will actually be he's like the new Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
So this fight will put either one in a title contention. If I would have beat Taka in my last fight, I would have been fighting for $1.5 million against Tyson Fury on December 12th. But because of that, I now have to fight either on that undercard or definitely on the 15th, which is after as like the celebratory fights and all that stuff.
Right. Well, you know we're gonna be rooting for you.
Yes, sir.
And like we always do. And I tell you one thing, once the fight comes to closer and closer, my buddy's gonna tell me, hey, he's on today. And
yes, sir.
we got our popcorn ready for you, Jerry.
Yes,
once again, thank you for what you do for your community. And it's a proud coach from Woodside, and I speak for Danny Dodson, Jerome Rose, Coach Gordon, and many others. Thank you for what you did for Woodside as well.
No, man. I mean, honestly, I think Woodside, like, during that, people don't realize that fight, it changed a lot of stuff. From the 10 minutes, to the 5 and all that.
Right.
But the teachers and the environment never changed for me. So even Mr. Williams, from him calling my parents, they were like, they thought I had got beat up because Mr. Williams was like, more on my side, and it's like, my parents were kind of shocked because it's like, he did all this, and like, the reaction was still, I mean, teachers, it was, if you were there, then you know who the kids were.
Right.
So you know who the teachers were that had to teach these kids. So they were happy, and that's kind of what really started to just propel what I was doing though. I mean, it was transcending, honestly, definitely.
That is awesome. Like I said, that's Jerry Foster, Slugger of Newport News.